They say a man's past can haunt him, but in Ash Bluff, one man's sins didn't just return, they refused to let him die. A soldier, a suicide, a town erased from history. What happens when death itself spits you back out with a price? Watch until the very end, because the truth Merritt uncovers might be buried in your name too. It happens on a Sunday. The town square is half asleep, still thick with heat and dust. Old Eli is selling peaches. Miss Wren hums as she sweeps her porch. Nothing about the moment suggests what's about to break the world in two. Then, Levi Granger steps into the light. He's a man carved from war and whiskey, long gray coat, boots worn to silence, a revolver tucked tight against his ribs. Folks notice him not because he's loud, but because he never is. In a town like Ash Bluff, that kind of quiet is dangerous. He walks to the middle of the square, doesn't say a word, doesn't even look up, just takes off his hat, places it gently on the well's stone rim, and draws the gun. People shout. Someone screams. But Levi doesn't flinch. He presses the barrel to his chest, right over the heart, and pulls the trigger. The shot cracks like lightning across dry wood. His body jerks back hard. He collapses in a heap of limbs and dust. It takes only seconds for the crowd to gather, breathless, horrified, expecting blood. But there isn't any. Merritt Cole is the first to reach him. He's the town doctor, not a miracle worker. His hands shake as he cuts away Levi's shirt. Nothing. No wound, no hole, not even a bruise. Just bare, pale skin and a heartbeat so steady it feels wrong. Levi's eyes flutter open, and then he whispers, "I missed the soul." That's when Merritt's blood runs cold. Because Levi Granger shouldn't be breathing, and yet here he is, staring up at the sky like he's disappointed it didn't open. The townsfolk back away slowly, whispering prayers, crossing themselves. Merritt kneels there, frozen. Not because Levi survived a gunshot, but because Merritt can feel it, too. Something is deeply wrong. And it's only just beginning. They keep Levi in the jailhouse, in the cell closest to the window. Sheriff Elkins says it's for the breeze. Merritt knows better. It's so they can see him. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't talk. He just sits back straight, eyes unfocused like he's waiting for something or someone. The bullet never turned up, and Levi never once asked where it went. Merritt visits 3 times that day, not as a doctor, but as a witness trying to convince himself he isn't losing his mind. He checks Levi's pulse again, still there, checks for damage, nothing. He presses a stethoscope to his chest, heartbeat as slow and smooth as a man at peace. But Merritt has never seen eyes like Levi's. Not wide, not frightened, just empty. Like looking into a house where the lights are on, but no one's home. That night, Merritt can't sleep. His mind won't let him. He draws water from the basin to wash his face. The moment he leans forward, he freezes. Levi's face is staring back at him, but not as a reflection. He jerks back, blinks. It's gone. Just water now. He tries again, leans in slowly. His own reflection is there this time, but it's off. Because his reflection is blinking out of sync. Merritt stumbles back, heart racing. He doesn't know what he saw, but he knows it was wrong. The next morning, Wren knocks at his door. Her hands tremble. "The livestock," she whispers. "They won't go near the jailhouse." Sure enough, the town's cattle stand still in their pens, heads turned, ears pinned, nostrils flaring in fear. The crows that usually perch on the chapel steeple, gone. Later, Elkins pulls Merritt aside. Low voice, serious. He said something strange last night, the sheriff mutters. Said he was counting backwards. Said he's waiting for the 38th. Merritt frowns. 38th? What? Elkins doesn't know, but he doesn't like it. They both glance toward the jailhouse window. Levi's still sitting, still breathing, but his shadow? It's delayed, like it's remembering how to follow a man long after the man's been forgotten. And that's when Merritt understands. This isn't over. Whatever Levi survived, it's still with him, or in him. 3 days after the gunshot, something arrives at the Ash Bluff post office. A single envelope, no stamp, no return address, just 2 words written in faded ink. Levi Granger. Postmaster Gibbons doesn't want to touch it, says the paper feels wrong, too dry for summer, too cold for anything else. He hands it to Merritt with tongs, as if the letter might bite. Inside is a single sheet. No greeting, no signature. Just a line, carefully scrawled in old looping script. UO 38, Galena's Rest remembers. Merritt stares at the name. Galena's Rest. He's never heard of it. Not in any county record, not in any map. But Levi has. The moment he sees the paper, something behind his eyes shifts. He doesn't flinch, doesn't blink. He just says, low and slow. Then they're still keeping count. Merritt demands answers. Levi only gives fragments. A name here, a road there, bits of memory like ash on the wind. He speaks of a town burned during the war, a place scrubbed from history, a massacre no one claimed. Orders followed by a man who stopped asking questions. A Union scout, Levi says. That's what they called me, but I was just a bullet with legs. Merritt listens in silence, chills crawling up his spine. That night, he digs through his grandfather's war chest, old medals, maps, journals yellowed with time, and at the bottom, under a torn cavalry flag, he finds it. A hand-drawn military map, Northern Territories, scouting paths marked in red. Near the edge is a smudge of ink. He wipes at it, and beneath, faint but clear, the name appears. Galena's Rest. It's circled, and next to it the number 38. The same number from the letter. The same number, Levi whispered. Merritt's throat tightens. His grandfather never served in that region. The map isn't his. So whose is it? He looks up, eyes darting toward the jailhouse in the dark distance. Levi hasn't moved in hours. But when lightning cracks the sky, Merritt sees him just for a flash, standing by the gallows on the edge of town. No coat, no hat. Just standing there, pointing west, toward a place that no longer exists. Toward Galena's Rest. Merritt locks every door before sundown. Ash Bluff feels colder now. Not by degrees, but by instinct. The kind of cold that creeps inside the bones, even when the air is still. He tells himself he's imagining things. That Levi's just a sick man with a haunted past. That there's a logical explanation for all of it. The missing bullet, the strange letter, the shadow that lags behind like it's walking through water. But at 2:13 a.m., Merritt wakes up gasping. Not from a dream. From a sound. A whisper. Outside his window. He lies still, heart hammering. Slowly, he lifts himself from the mattress and steps to the curtain. Just a peek, he tells himself. Just enough to calm the nerves. What he sees drains the blood from his face. Levi is standing in the middle of his yard, unmoving, barefoot, face tilted up to the moon. And then his lips part. Merritt can't hear the words. Not really, but he feels them, like breath against the inside of his skull. Merritt James Cole. His full name, A name he hasn't spoken aloud in years. A name only 2 people in this town even know, and one of them is buried. Levi tilts his head and repeats it. Merritt James Cole. The voice is not angry. It's not even sad. It's empty like wind blowing through a name carved into stone. Merritt stumbles back from the window, slamming into his nightstand. The lamp crashes. Glass shatters. When he dares to look again, the yard is empty. No Levi. No footprints. Just the wind brushing through the grass like it's searching for something. The next morning, Merritt rushes to the jailhouse, but Levi's there. Still inside the cell. Still sitting on the cot. Still whispering to himself. On the wall behind him, scratched into the brick with fingernails, are tally marks. 38. Fresh. Still red. Merritt stares at the marks, then at Levi. Why me? He asks, voice cracking. What does this have to do with me? Levi finally looks up. There's blood on your name, he says. And Merritt realizes something that chills him deeper than the whisper ever could. Levi isn't choosing who comes next. He's remembering. Sheriff Elkins quits that afternoon. No explanation, no warning. Just hands in his badge and rides out before sunset, eyes hollow, lips tight. Says nothing except, don't let him out, not for any reason. That leaves Merritt as the only one still checking on Levi. The townsfolk refuse. Even Gibbons won't walk past the jailhouse anymore. Children cross the street. Dogs whine and paw at the earth when they get too close. Levi doesn't move, doesn't speak, but something is changing. His eyes. The brown is fading not to white, not to gray, but to ash. A pale, flaky film creeps across the iris. Not blindness. Merritt tests it with light. Levi reacts. But the movement is slow, delayed, like the eyes don't belong to the brain anymore. That night, Merritt returns with his medical bag. He tells himself it's for research, curiosity, a need to prove that something physical, something scientific is happening. But when he enters the cell, Levi looks straight at him, as if he's been waiting. You brought the maps, Levi says. Merritt stops cold. He did bring the map, folded, tucked in his coat, the one from the war chest. But he never told Levi. Did they change? Levi asks. Did the red move? Merritt, against better judgment, pulls the map from his coat, unfolds it on the cot between them. Galina's rest is still circled. But now, something's different. The ink is bleeding, not spreading across the paper, but rising up from it like it's fresh again. The town's name pulses faintly, as if breathing. And the number 38? It drips, slowly. Dark and wet. Who are they? Merritt asks. The 38? Levi closes his eyes. Families, children, witnesses, anyone who knew and didn't stop it. He opens his palm. There's dirt under his fingernails, deep, packed in. I wake up with it, Levi says. Every night, it's like I've been digging. Merritt wants to speak, to refute, to rationalize. But he sees it now, faint lines across Levi's fingers. Scratches, tiny cuts, as if he has been clawing through earth. Where? Merritt breathes. Levi looks up, and in his voice there's something ancient and heavy. The place where they're buried. The place I made disappear. And they want me to remember. Merritt returns to the jail at dawn. The fog is heavy, slow-moving, blanketing Ash Bluff like a shroud. Nothing stirs. No birds. No horses. Even the wind holds its breath. He expects to find Levi asleep, if he ever sleeps at all. Instead, he finds blood. Not pooled, not spilled, drawn. 38 tally marks now cover the entire back wall of the cell, but they aren't scratched like before. They're painted, finger-width strokes in red, still wet, still dripping. One for each name Levi once took. Merritt's hands shake as he checks Levi's arms, chest, legs. No open wounds, no cuts. But when he lifts Levi's shirt, he freezes. Names, etched into his skin, carved, letter by letter, as if by a blade made of memory. H. Murphy, S. Dole, B. Tenon. 15 names in total, carved in a pattern, in rows like tombstones on flesh, each one scabbed over like old sins. Who are they? Merritt whispers. Ghosts with nowhere to go, Levi murmurs. They speak when I sleep. They show me their last breath, over and over. Merritt steps back, stomach twisting. He's a man of medicine, of anatomy, cause and effect, pulse and logic. But this is ritual. This is grief carved in bone. That night, the town preacher dies. No warning, no illness, just collapses at the pulpit mid-sermon, clutching his chest, gasping Levi's name before the congregation. When Merritt performs the autopsy, he finds something impossible. No heart. Not shattered, not punctured. Gone. The rib cage is intact. The arteries are clean cut. The space where the heart should be is empty. And no blood. Like it was taken not violently, but deliberately, as if claimed. Merritt stumbles home in silence. He pours a drink with trembling hands, then notices something beneath his boot. A slip of paper, folded. On it, in the same handwriting as before, 17 remain. Merritt sinks to the floor. He doesn't know who's counting. He doesn't know where the list comes from. But he knows this. The preacher wasn't on it yesterday. Someone or something is crossing off names. And Levi Granger? He isn't the killer. He's just the ledger. Merritt keeps the map locked in his desk now. But every time he opens the drawer, it's changed. The circle around Galena's wrist has thickened, grown darker. Veins of red ink now web outward like roots toward Ash Bluff, toward him. One morning, he wakes to find the map unfurled on his kitchen table, though he never removed it. The ink is fresh, and a new mark has appeared just beside the town's name. 16. 16 what? Victims? Witnesses? Targets? He rushes to the jailhouse. Levi's still there, still alive. But the tally marks on the wall are different. They've begun to drip downward, bleeding toward the floor like paint soaked through wood. Merritt demands answers. What is it? He pleads. The map, the marks, the number 16. What does it mean? Levi doesn't answer right away. His hands are clenched, nails cracked. His voice, when it comes, is raw. They died because of me. Some I shot. Others I sent to die. I knew it when I ordered the match lit. He looks up. Galena's rest wasn't just erased. It was sacrificed. And now they want me to walk it backward, soul by soul, until they forgive me. Merritt turns away. It's too much. Too heavy. But then Levi speaks again, softer, almost childlike. I dug one up last night. Merritt freezes. What? I thought it was a dream, Levi whispers. But my boots were caked in dirt, fingernails raw, and in my pocket? He reaches slowly into his coat and pulls out a tooth. Human, brown at the root, still wet. Merritt stumbles back in horror. That night, thunder growls low over Ash Bluff, but no rain comes, just heat and pressure, like something heavy is pressing down on the town, inch by inch. The chapel bell rings once. No one pulled the rope. Merritt runs outside. The sky is purple with stormlight, and on his porch, pinned with an old cavalry knife, is another note. 15. He drops it, stares at the distant shadow of the jailhouse. Inside, Levi Granger is still alive. But Merritt's beginning to wonder, is he even the one being punished? Or is Ash Bluff the one being judged? Chapter 8. The Names Under the Floor. The morning sun rises blood orange. Ash Bluff feels thinner, not quieter but emptier, as if something has been taken during the night and no one dares speak its name. Merritt hasn't slept. He spends the early hours pacing the floor of his clinic, the map open on the desk, now pulsing with a new ink smear and a handwritten word that wasn't there yesterday. Cole. Not circled, underlined. He tries to pretend it could be someone else, another Cole, another name. But deep down, he knows. That night, he dreams of digging, of soil that moans, of fingers brushing teeth and buttons and jawbones. And when he wakes, his nails are black with grit. He stumbles from bed to find muddy prints across the floor. They stop at the bookshelf. Behind it, where the floorboards shift and creak, Merritt finds a hatch he never knew existed, a storage cellar from before the war. He lifts the trapdoor. Stairs descend into silence. At the bottom, a single oil lamp waits. Lit. Flickering. Though no one's been down there in decades. He steps inside. The walls are covered in names. Carved. Scraped. Hundreds of them. He runs his fingers across one, and it stings like touching flame. Near the center, fresh and raw, is a name he knows. Amos Cole. His father. A man who died in bed, peaceful and old. A man who never spoke of the war, never claimed to have served. A man who built a clinic on the edge of town, on land no one ever talked about. Merritt stumbles back, heart hammering. Levi was right. There was blood on his name. And it runs deeper than he ever imagined. That night, another townsman dies. No wounds, no signs of struggle. But his body is found curled beside the church steps, lips blue, clutching a slip of paper. 14. The next morning, Merritt bursts into Levi's cell, rage boiling through terror. "What is this?" he shouts, shoving the paper at him. "Why are these people dying? What are you becoming?" Levi looks up, eyes filled with ash, voice hollow. "I'm not becoming anything." He leans forward, breath shallow. "I'm undoing." And outside, from the dry earth where Galena's rest once stood, something ancient shifts beneath the ground as if counting with every breath. The wind returns to Ash Bluff on the 9th night. But it doesn't cool the air. It warms it dry, electric, like breath against the back of the neck. Merritt can't stay inside. Something calls him. Not in words, not even in thought, but in pressure. In the way the air bends toward the edge of town. Toward the old gallows. They tore them down 20 years ago, built a water tower in its place, but the wood, the original beam, was repurposed, reinforced, used as a support post under the town store. That's where Merritt finds himself now. He breaks in through the back, lantern in hand, dust thick in the air. The cellar stairs creak like bones. And there, wedged upright in the corner split, but still whole, is the beam. He kneels, heart pounding, running his fingers along the grain. And then he sees it. A hole. Small, perfectly round. No splintering, no exit. Just a clean entry in the wood, the exact shape of a bullet. The bullet, the one Levi fired into his chest. It didn't vanish. It passed through something that wasn't flesh. Merritt steps back, breathing hard. His lantern flickers. Something whispers behind him, not voice, but feeling a tug in his gut. In his memory, he turns and sees them. Shadows on the walls. Dozens of them. Flickering in the lamplight, not moving, not speaking, just watching. And every one of them missing a face. Merritt bolts from the cellar, into the street, gasping for breath. He doesn't stop until he reaches the jailhouse. Levi's awake, standing, staring at the wall of tallies. There are now 24 names carved into his skin. Fresh blood streaks down his ribs. Names Merritt doesn't recognize but feels like he should. "Why?" Merritt asks, shaking. "Why didn't the bullet kill you?" Levi turns slowly. "Because I aimed for the heart," he says. "But I didn't miss the body. I missed the soul." He lifts his hand, trembling, and points toward Merritt's chest. "And now, it's your turn to find out what that means. Because tonight, as the moon rises red and low, 13 remain. And the final name? It may already be carved. Ashbluff doesn't sleep anymore. Doors are bolted, curtains drawn, church bells silenced. Folks speak in murmurs, eyes darting toward shadows that stretch too long, linger too slow. The air tastes like burnt iron. Merritt locks himself in his clinic, the map spread across the floor, bleeding fresh ink that he can't wipe away. The circle around Galena's rest pulses like a wound. 12 names now carved into Levi's skin. 12 bodies buried in silence. 12 deaths that make no medical sense. And tonight Merritt knows will make 13. He feels it in his blood, in the way his own name echoes behind his eyes when no one's speaking. At 2:13 a.m., the same hour as the whisper, it happens. Footsteps outside. Not boots, bare feet, slow, steady. Then a knock. Not on the door, on the window. Merritt turns. Levi is there, but he's still in the jail cell. Merritt knows that. He checked. And yet Levi is there. Pale, hollow-eyed, lips barely moving. But it's not his voice Merritt hears. It's dozens, whispering over each other, speaking through him. "You were there," they say. "Your father built the clinic on their bones. You profited from silence. You watched it fade. And then, now you carry us." Merritt collapses. When he wakes, he's in the jailhouse. The cell is open. Levi's gone. The wall of tallies is wiped clean, all but one mark left. One soul left to claim. And in the middle of the floor, etched into the boards with surgical precision, is Merritt's full name. He stumbles outside as dawn breaks, hoping it's over. But outside the clinic, the townsfolk have gathered, silent, staring, at a figure hanging from the water tower beam. Not Merritt, not Levi. Someone else. Someone from the list. Merritt tries to speak, but the words choke. Because, standing just beyond the crowd, unnoticed by all, is Levi Granger. Eyes gray, skin pale, mouth stitched shut. He nods once, solemn, then fades into the light. And Merritt knows. Levi wasn't spared. He was rejected. Death refused him. The dead bound him, not to kill, but to deliver. 38 names, 38 tolls. And now that his debt is paid, he's finally gone. But Merritt? He carries the map now, and a pen that bleeds names.